Welcome to Foolproof Mechanics, understanding the idea of keywords. One helpful strategy in identifying the placement of punctuation in a sentence after finding the subjects and verbs is to identify the key words. We recommend underlining subjects once, verbs twice, and circling the key words. For example, certain compound sentences are joined by a comma and a conjunction, and or nor, but for yet so. This is a sample compound sentence. Garfield often harasses Odie, and Odie rarely notices. If we identify the subject, Garfield, and the verb harasses, and then the second subject and verb in the second half, Odie notices, we can tell where the comma goes by looking for the conjunction, which happens to be and. So we're going to circle that. And then we want to add our comma before the conjunction, which goes right here. So by identifying that key word, we know where the comma goes. Another kind of compound sentence uses conjunctive adverbs and a semicolon to join two simple sentences. Examples of conjunctive adverbs are therefore, however, in addition, and whereas. The semicolon will go before the conjunctive adverb, and the conjunctive adverb will be followed by a comma. The conjunctive adverb can be a single word or a phrase, and it's followed by a comma because it acts like a transition between the two simple sentences. Here we have a sample of a compound sentence using a conjunctive adverb, and we'll first identify the subject and verb. Garfield is the subject, and loves is the verb. And then, in the second half, he is the subject, and enjoys is the verb. Now, the conjunctive adverb is in addition. So we're circling that. The end of the first sentence comes after lasagna, so we'll put our semicolon here, and then the comma will go after the conjunctive adverb, which would go here. So there you have another example of keywords helping you to identify where to put your punctuation. Dependent clauses and phrases can also be identified with keywords. They will help you to know where to put a comma at the end of the first half of a dependent clause, which means it can't stand alone. It would be a fragment if it was standing by itself, and it needs the second half of the sentence for it to make sense. One example of a keyword that would occur at the beginning of a sentence is one that would start an intro adverb clause. Those words are called subordinating conjunctions, and they occur before a subject and a verb. An example of a subordinating conjunction would be if, when, after, or before. Here's a sample sentence with an introductory adverb clause, which is a dependent clause. You will see that these dependent clauses have a subject and a verb in them. So Garfield is the subject, eats is the verb, and then in the second half of the sentence, he is the subject and likes is the verb. Now our key word is after. It's a subordinating conjunction. And if you listen to that beginning clause, after Garfield eats dinner, you understand that it can't stand alone, and it needs the second half of the sentence for it to make sense. Therefore, we need a comma after dinner. And we need the second half of the sentence, he likes to snuggle with his teddy bear, in order for that sentence to be complete and to make sense. There are other keywords and other rules that we could go on and talk about, but instead we'll identify some of those and work on those individually. So, for Garfield and for the McFarland High School English 10 department, we bid you farewell.